Hey y'all, you already know what it is. This is your boy Jay. Some of y'all might know me from podcasts that I do with my best friend called Taste Like Shade, these vegan videos, and now the vegan tasting event that we have in February. And today we're cooking some tomato basil Alfredo, just in time for Valentine's Day for you and your boo. So today you might notice something a little different. We are missing Melanie. We had a conversation and she was like, you know, you've been doing so well. I've taught you so much. And you know, I just want to see if you can do this on your own. So I'm never one to back down from a challenge. So I said, say less, boo. So let's get started. So I already pre-cut some of our vegetables that we're going to be using for this recipe today. So you're going to need 3 cloves of diced garlic, half of a yellow onion. You're going to need a cup of cherry tomatoes. And you're going to need a cup and a half of asparagus and 2 cups of baby spinach. So let's get started. So first you're gonna go ahead and add your 2 tablespoons of virgin olive oil. You're gonna go ahead and turn your burner to a low medium heat so the olive oil can start to warm. And then we're gonna add our asparagus and onions and cherry tomatoes. So you're only going to want to use half of the garlic and half of the onion because we're going to use the rest of that for the roux. So while we have that cook, you're going to have that simmer a little bit. Once you get some heat to it, your cherry tomatoes start to burst, your asparagus gets some color, you're going to add the spinach just so that can melt down a little bit. So now while we let our vegetables go ahead and cook and simmer before we add the spinach, we're going to go ahead and start the roux. So first you're just going to need 1/2 cup of vegan butter. So now that our vegan butter is all melted, what we're gonna do now is go ahead and take a half a cup of all-purpose flour. What we need to do now is just go ahead and whisk everything together while it's still on low heat. So as you do this, you'll start to see that it gets a thicker consistency, kind of when we made that vegan mac and cheese back in December. It's the same build-up that we're doing. So now that we whisk together our flour and our vegan butter, we're gonna go ahead and add 1/4 cup of tomato paste. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and whisk that up too. So now that we whisk all of that together, we wanna let this sit on the stove for about 2 minutes to let all those ingredients build together. And then while we wait for those 2 minutes, we're gonna move on to our next ingredient. Okay, so we let that cook and simmer for about 2 minutes on low heat. So now we're gonna go ahead and add 1 full cup of vegetable broth. So now that we've mixed that together a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and add our cashew and almond blend milk. Make sure that's 1 cup. And now you're gonna go ahead and add 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So earlier, I know we said that we're reserving and saving the other half of the garlic and the other half of the onion. So now we're gonna go ahead and put the rest of that half in the roux. So now we're gonna go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, cayenne powder to taste, and pepper to taste. All right, y'all, we added the rest of our seasoning, so we just need to go ahead and whisk this up. So we let our vegetables simmer for a little bit. So I see some color, some cherry tomatoes bursting. So now I'm gonna add the rest of this spinach. So stir that all together. Spinach cooks like really quickly and a lot really doesn't get you that far. So once the spinach does dwindle down a little bit, shrink, then we're gonna go ahead and add that to our roux. You're gonna wanna let this sit for about 10 minutes and then we'll add our pasta. So we're letting that roux simmer, you know, get them ingredients all together. So now we're gonna make our pasta. I just added water to a pan and I put 1 tablespoon of salt. We're gonna let this sit for about like 10-12 minutes. But while we're cooking it, I'm gonna go ahead and add 1/4 of basil. And just like that, the pasta's done. So now we're gonna go ahead and combine it with our roux and mix that all up. So now it's time to serve, baby. Let's do it. Wow, Melanie, we really did that today. I'm really excited to try it. So here we go. And just like that, y'all, I made a whole Alfredo dish. Guess what? By myself. So let's see what it tastes like.
I did that. Like, I made this. Wow, that's crazy. Damn, this is good. Wow. It's creamy. It's vegan. The basil is in there, the asparagus. Well, Melanie, hope you can make the next video so we can taste this together. But I did a good job, so hopefully you're proud of me. Stay tuned for the next episode of Wow Is That Vegan?